Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 58 of the Rock and Roll Beer Guy podcast. This episode is brought to you by One Effing Inc. If you go to the website, the number one effinginc.com/effingradart, you can get yourself a custom Rock and Roll Beer Guy t-shirt. Just go to the website, pick the shirt color, pick the ink color, and they'll ship it right to your door, and you'll be supporting the podcast. In this episode, I talked to Ben Weinman of the band Dillinger Escape Plan. I caught Ben in the middle of a snowstorm, so it's a little bit crazy. But we talk about his career, what it's been like living life after Dillinger Escape Plan, and he opens up about the terrible accident that the band endured on the road. It was an honor talking to him, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Cheers.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey there, how you doing?
How's it going, man?
Good, how are you?
Doing all right. How bad is that storm out there?
Pretty bad, and I have to kind of leave the house in order to use the internet or the phone right now, which sucks. But I'm probably going to have to get back soon because it's getting pretty bad out here. So
Oh, shit. Okay.
Trying to catch you earlier, so thanks for calling.
No problem, man. I just wanted to... I've been trying to do this where I do a little interview with each of the members of the band, just kind of post-mortem to see how everybody's doing.
Yeah.
And wanted to check in on you, see how are things post-Dillinger for you?
It's interesting. It's much more relaxing, I get to say.
I can imagine.
I'm still quite busy, but just not having to see the horizon of a tour approaching all the time and rushing to both sort the business and the personal life is pretty crazy, just not looking at the calendar and being like, oh wait, 2 months away is approaching in a few days, a few weeks, whatever, it's interesting.
Yeah. How's your body holding up, man? I mean, you guys, when you're in the thick of it, you don't feel it as much, but I'm sure
right.
after resting up, you start feeling all the nagging injuries and shit.
Yeah, it's like your body decides it can finally let go and just disintegrate, right? I'm holding up pretty good. I'm actually living on a farm now, so I'm pretty active. Trying, it's almost like I'm still putting myself through the right physical.
Nice. Okay.
Physical, yeah. I'm pushing hay around and all kinds of stuff.
So you have a farm. What do you have out there? I mean, just a bunch of horses and cows, or?
Yeah. So it's not it's kind of just a lot of rescue animals. So there's about 35 animals. We're not raising anything for meat or for any kind of product other than just get eggs and stuff. But yeah, it's just kind of like a sanctuary, just a place where animals can hang out and be happy. A lot of land. And it's very cool. They all live together. We have many donkeys, goats, sheep, goose, turkey, ducks, chickens. Pigs. It's crazy.
That's awesome, and that's out in New Jersey?
Yeah.
Cool, man. That's awesome. Are you doing so? What are you doing now with your time? I mean, aside from tending to the farm, are you? How much involvement do you have with Party Smasher?
Everything. I mean, right now I'm actively, managing. I kind of use Party Smasher as the umbrella for everything I'm doing. So. I was just talking about. I was just in meetings yesterday, and we were discussing the release of the Primitive Weapons album, Party Smasher, the label, and then I'm managing, pretty active managing. This artist Kimbrough, who's very busy and has an album coming out April 20th, and is actually currently in New Zealand shooting a film. And that's very exciting. It's her first feature film, and she's a pretty main role in that, so that's interesting.
That's very
She's
cool. Yeah.
she's always been an active singer and performer and writer, but moving into the movie thing is interesting for me. I get to kind of explore new things and learn about new ways of kind of navigating, entertainment business and stuff. But it all comes back to like what I learned from the underground, mm-hmm. And that's what ultimately I always realized that everything I learned through Dillinger is really the base for everything else I'm doing. So it's pretty interesting.
That's awesome, man. Tell me a little bit about those final shows you guys put together. I mean, I was talking to Kevin about it yesterday, and I tried to get my money together to fly out there for at least one of them, but I couldn't make it out. So, how was it like setting that up? Like going in knowing that these were it. This is the final shows.
I think one of the main concerns was trying to enjoy it. It's almost like Liam said this. Like it's like you're planning your own funeral.
Yeah.
And it's like a funeral and a wedding at the same time in a way. It's like, so, you have all these friends and family and old band members and fans and everyone coming out, and you want everyone to enjoy it and be accommodated. And but at the same time, you have to try and enjoy it yourself. And like, so for me, it was like, I worked really hard at just like not getting too wrapped up in the guest list and VIP and this and that, I'm just kind of like, everybody, friends, family, whoever wants to go, here's your guest list shit. Leave me alone. I will not be available. I will not be talking to you. We didn't let anybody backstage, like any family or anything. Mm-hmm. It was really just, we really just wanted to try and really be in the moment. And it was funny, man. Like, we didn't let any press or photo passes in, and everyone was pissed off. And I'm like, well, we don't really need press. We don't need interviews. We don't need we're not trying to get bigger or get exposure. Like,
right.
We just want fans to be able to watch a show without 40 people in the photo pit getting in the way, and we want to be able to perform without worrying about bumping into someone's expensive camera or something.
Sure, yeah, or stepping on someone's camera and face at the same time.
right. So it worked out great. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm really glad we did 3 shows because I pretty much got everything I needed out of the 3. I think if any one of the shows wouldn't have been enough to satisfy, everything I needed out of that final performances. But all 3 together kind of touched on everything I needed. Like, every show had something different. Every show accomplished something different for me. And so I think we were all very satisfied.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can imagine it being super stressful because, I mean, you guys kind of, you spanned your entire library in terms of songs that you were playing those 3 nights. And, having to kind of remember some of those songs that you maybe hadn't played in a long time or something like that.
Yeah, and I felt really bad for Kevin, speaking of Kevin, he's been in the band the least amount of time and kind of just has a catalog of songs he knows that we would always play while he's in the band. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, dude, you got to learn, like, fucking all these songs to play once, Yeah. And he really stepped up to the plate for that, man. I was very proud of him, happy.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And I can also imagine the stress of having to coordinate with, because you guys tried to bring back a bunch of the old band members. I saw, Dimitri and, you guys had, even Mike Patton showed up for a couple of the EP songs.
Yeah.
And having to coordinate all that with everyone, just trying to be there. I mean, I noticed the absence of Chris Penny. I don't know if you guys still have a connection there, or if there's I don't know what the issue might be between you.
Yeah, I mean, I have no issue with him, and it's just kind of like he's kind of like the only guy that was in the band that didn't stay like friends. Like everybody was involved. The Dillinger crew, and even people who did artwork for us and all kinds of stuff, we're all still friends. And I don't know, I guess, like, he just kind of removed himself from everybody involved with the band at one point in time. When he left the band, he kind of just started a new life and almost like just removed himself from everybody we know. So I don't really need to know anyone who talks to him, but we certainly would have been open for him to come out and play. And I know Billy would have even loved to see him come out and play some of the songs that he, performed and wrote on. But it's the kind of thing where, like, mostly everybody was so supportive and excited to be there that, like, it wasn't I don't think we really wanted to, like, nobody there had to be chased down, like, everybody was really excited to be there, and he's just kind of proven to not really want to be involved anymore, so that's totally fine. And ultimately we just wanted to have a positive experience. And
sure. I mean, I can see that. I mean, so it wasn't an issue that like you guys reached out and he said no. It was just it just never came to be.
No, I think it's one of those things where, like, throughout the years, it's just he's just, like I said, he's kind of, if any of us have reached out or talked mutual friends, he's just really kind of made it clear that he's wanted to not be involved anymore.
Yeah.
And so I mean, that's fine. I know that I honestly, nobody. It's weird. Like, honestly, nobody really knows what he's doing. I mean, some of our friends and people in the band or in the band known him for many, many years. Went to high school with him, grew up with him, and, like, nobody talks to him. Nobody knows where he is or what he's doing. And so, I wish him the best, and I just hope he's happy and doing well. And when I hear he's not really playing drums and stuff like that, that's really upsetting because he's such a freak of nature, amazing talent.
Yeah.
And regardless of the differences in the band or whatever happened, him leaving, and I'd love to see him out there playing. So.
Well, I actually talked to him last year when the podcast was first starting, and he was cool. He was telling me about he's doing, like, scores and stuff. I think that's what.
I know that. I know that he's working on some of that stuff. And, commercial work. So that's good, man. I'm just he was always into, like, all that stuff and composing, and so I'm glad he's still making music.
Cool, man. So the final shows, everything came out according to plan. I mean, I'm sure there was probably little hiccups here and there, but ultimately you're pleased with it.
Yeah, for sure. And it was great to see all our friends there. And I think one of the most satisfying things of the whole night, of the whole 3 nights, was having our old bass player Adam come up and, like, perform the last song of the night of the 3 nights with us.
Oh yeah, that was real special.
Keyboard work and stuff, and that was awesome. That was really cool. I never thought I'd be on stage with him again. So.
And that was you did that. That was the last song, the Disassociation with you had the 4-piece quartet too on there and everything.
Yeah, correct, totally.
Yeah, that was awesome. Did you guys film any of this, like, for a DVD release or Blu-ray release?
We actually did. We have it all filmed, and I'm actually going to be working on going through some of that on Friday of this week, checking it out, and figure it out. We don't know what we're going to do with it yet, but. I'm sure we'll do something. Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. I'm looking forward to that release because, like I said, I missed it. I had a couple friends, like Steve was out there, and Tommy and Steve were out there in the crowd, and it was a fun time from what I saw in the clips.
Yeah, we enjoyed it.
Yeah, I wanted to also ask you about Giraffe Tongue Orchestra. How's that?
Mm-hmm.
Is that moving forward? Are you guys doing anything else with that?
No, I don't think so. I mean, there's always a chance we'll get together and make some more music, but a lot of people kind of assumed that was going to be a replacement for Dillinger for me or something, like, it was like onward and forward to the Giraffe Tongue Orchestra thing, and that was never the case. It was always like a side project, and it was just something that Brent Hines and I had been working on for years and years and years and just couldn't manage to get it done, and then finally, the right group of people got in a room together and we made an album, and we were very happy with it, and we played some shows in England, and we did South by Southwest, and I put it out on Party Smasher, which was really fulfilling, and that's it. We're all very busy. Brent's busy with Mastodon, and William's got Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
Thomas Pridgeon's all over the world playing drums in different bands, and so again, it's possible we'd make more music. We really enjoyed it, but it's not like something we're really planning.
Yeah. Are you done with making music as in a band, or is your focus now just working on your company and Party Smasher and having everything like that, or are you planning eventually to start another band?
I mean, I don't know if I'll ever want to be in a band again. To be honest with you, I mean, as the guy who kind of was the business guy and the main songwriter and the I guess, I don't know, from day one, it's a fucking lot of work, man. It's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work, and it's really great to see the other guys in the band who kind of joined Dillinger at one point, even if they've been in the band for many, many years, like Liam and Greg and everything like that. It's really cool to see them start their own bands. Because part of me is like, ha, now you see, motherfuckers, Now you see how hard it is to rally a band together and get things done and, figure everything out. But I'm also really proud of them for, doing it, because it's really hard to start a new band. Especially after you've been in an established band and touring the world and doing the whole thing, to then start fresh with a new band. I mean, I just don't know if I have it in me right now. And, but I'm really excited that those guys are. And but yeah, I'm always going to make music. I'm working on soundtracks, and I still produce stuff. And yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, it's a lot of people. When the announcement came that you guys were breaking up, it was like, why? You guys are kind of at the peak of your game, and I'm like, yeah, that's probably why, dude. Go out on top. I said the same thing to Kevin. It's like, nobody you shouldn't want to be like the Rolling Stones or Metallica fucking playing shows in your 60s,
Yeah.
Overstaying your welcome.
Well, I mean, yeah, there was certainly a good amount of debate even within the band of whether or not we should be hanging up the towel or whatever. But I know that I feel 100% happy with the decision, and I know in my heart it was the right decision, and the most credible and artistic and honorable way to do it. I feel 100% confident in that. So yeah, I feel very at peace with it.
That's good, man. Lots of kudos and admiration to you for deciding to end it when you did, the way that you did it, and also just keeping it together for 20 years. I mean, with members coming in and out of the band, and stuff that would have deterred someone else, that you right. Just fuck this, I can't. But you ended up you bring the right people in at the right time, and you move forward, and it's super admirable that they were able to go through that.
Thank you, I appreciate it. And look, I got to give everybody credit for putting up with me too, And so yeah, I'm very lucky. I got to play with amazing musicians and amazing people, and regardless, it's like the band would not be, regardless of who was in the band at what point or came in and came out, the band would never have been the band that played those last 3 shows at Terminal 5 without these people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got very lucky to have these people come on board when they did, and build the band in a way that we did. And so yeah, it's cool. It's like everyone always talks about Calculating Infinity in the old days and the Patent EP and stuff like that, and then it's but the truth is I would have never ever been able to be a part of something as important as I was without Greg and Billy and all that stuff. Those guys really pushed the band as far as I think we could go.
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
Because of those guys, we just kept getting, I feel, better and better at what we do. So
yeah, it's funny. It's funny how some fans would react. Like when Greg joined the band and you guys released Miss Machine, there was definitely a change in sound a little bit. Like it was still the chaotic, crazy violence, but there was now singing.
Yeah.
You know, and there was more melody and all that involved. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's not the same," blah blah blah. You know, the elitists and whatnot.
Yeah.
But to me, that's a turning point for the band that made you bigger and bigger, like that. And not just because, like, oh, he's singing now, so you know it's more radio friendly. It's still not radio friendly, you know.
Yeah. We managed to mess that up somehow.
Yeah, and it's crazy that fans won't accept certain evolutions. Like a good friend of mine, Jeff from Poison the Well, like they have that issue as well, where
of course,
you know, every album they evolved, it was like, well, you guys are, you know, I want Opposite of December. It's like, fuck off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that later Poison the Well stuff was like genius. You know?
Yeah, it's an evolution of character of the
but
person.
It's an evolution, absolutely. It's an evolution. I mean, look, the truth is you know, the people who didn't evolve and grow with Dillinger have been gone a really long time. You know?
Yeah.
Like they're not. They've been gone a really, really long time, and so the truth is most of our fan base have been really accepting, and they're diehards, man. It's like it's crazy. You know, our fan base is crazy. It's like. We may not be the biggest band in the world, and maybe like these new kind of trend bands that are bigger than us, or we're bigger than us, or things. But like our fan base is fanatical, man. It's like really.
Well, I think that has a lot to do with your performance, man. Like you guys would get into the crowd. You know, you would jump out into the crowd, get in their faces, and it was always like it was violent, but it was always like a loving violence, if that makes any sense.
No, I think everyone really believed that we're telling the truth, and hopefully the people that are real fans really trust that what we're doing is honest. You know, we really believe in what we're doing, and when we're up there, we're not like putting on an act. You know, that we're really using the opportunity to express ourselves. So that's what I hope anyway, and I feel like that's probably the case because of the nature of the fans we have. You know, so. That's like something I'm really proud of.
That's awesome. And I hate to take it into a darker territory, but you know, I talked to Kevin a little bit about the accident that you guys had recently, and you know how he had to play shows in a back brace and everything. And how was that for you? Like, did you sustain any like major injuries like that, or?
Yeah, I mean, ironically, you know, I had many of the injuries the other guy sustained. I'd already had, you know.
Right, from years of, you know, diving off of stacks.
Right, so it's like, the truth, like, I was one of the least injured in the accident, but I was the closest to impact of anybody. I was actually, and it was really pretty traumatic because, I mean, I was with my 8-month pregnant wife in the bus.
Oh, Jesus.
And we were... because she was so pregnant, we couldn't fit in a bunk together. So we were laying in the back lounge against the back wall of the bus, which is the closest to impact. You know, the thing hit us in the back. You know what I mean? And and so I remember we were broken down on a road, and none of us knew we were asleep. We woke up to a crash. I mean, I heard what sounded like a wrecking ball hitting a giant metal dumpster, like next to my head, type of thing. You know what I mean? It's just, and somehow, I don't know, I like jumped up in the air and like threw my wife up in the air, like threw her up to her feet, and like the wall broke behind us. Like it was crazy. I don't even understand what happened. I was half asleep, but like somehow instinct kicked in. I don't really know, but
wow,
we were super lucky, really super lucky, and so yeah, I have to say I certainly wasn't thrilled to go back on tour and get in a bus.
Yeah, I mean that's got to be crazy. Like I would have called it there, you know.
Well, the truth is like we had already called it. I mean, we had gone 20 years straight without a major accident like that. Traveling very consistently, and then we decided to call quits. We're doing our final shows, and boom. You know what I mean? Like,
Jesus Christ.
So there's definitely a feeling of like, wow, what's somebody? Is someone trying to tell us something? You know, like done, finished.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yeah, and then you know, the unfortunate, you know, you guys went back on the road after that and on tour with Soundgarden, and then that tragedy happens.
Right.
And it's like, I can imagine the mental fucking trauma. Like, fuck.
Yeah, it was.
Like,
No, I'm very, to be quite honest with you, it was very traumatic. The whole thing was constantly like this message of like, yeah, it's time to end, man. You know, like this isn't a healthy life. This isn't a healthy lifestyle. For as long as we've been doing it, it's not. And you know, it's taken a mental toll on all of us. And I've definitely been through my shit, and like, you know, having a scenario where I finally have a wife and a baby coming, and like all this stuff that I never was able to have because of my lifestyle for 20 years.
Yeah.
All these kind of reminders that this is not a lifestyle that's conducive for mental health or physical health or any of that stuff. It definitely kind of solidified my decisions for sure.
Yeah, man, that's a young man's game.
Yeah,
you know? And once you're in your late 30s or 40s and you're starting a family, like, yeah, that's not where you should be, unless you're, you know, obviously doing like the Aerosmith or like the Rolling Stones, where you're flying around and you know, with your entire house.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, dude, I had a good conversation with Lars from Metallica about this stuff, and he'll admit, even, you know, like, look, if they weren't able to conduct their touring business the way they do, he would be able to do it, and like their families are first now, and they really had to change gears where like they work Metallica into their lives as opposed to trying to work their lives into Metallica.
Yeah.
And obviously they're capable of doing that because, you know, the biggest band in the world, so they can like do 3 shows and they'll be home for 3 days or whatever, or like, you know, fly home in a jet every night or whatever. But the truth is that even they know that there's limits to what they can do.
For sure. I mean, I did a stage production for many years, and a lot of people don't understand. Like, Aerosmith travels with 25 18-wheelers full of shit, you know, because they bring their house with them. They bring laundry machines and plants and, you know, sofas with rugs and, you know.
They all have their own buses and they don't talk. And
yeah, it's nuts. So unless you're able to do that in that you know, at that age, it's not worth it. You know,
right?
Well, I don't get it how the homies in Every Time I Die are still fucking you know, cruising around. Almost, it seems like they don't ever take breaks. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know?
they're in a van. They're still cruising around in a van, doing it the same. Yeah. I mean, look, it's tough, man. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've known them a really long time. I don't know how it affects their family life, but I can imagine it's not easy.
No, yeah. I mean, I've seen that there's been, you know, they announce it on news, you know, websites and stuff where, hey, look, Keith's got to go, and then like you got people filling in and stuff like that. So obviously, you know, you gotta make shit happen. So
yeah, absolutely. We were in Europe doing some shows like festivals, and Every Time I Die was on a few of them, and Keith had to leave for family issues, and they kind of just stuck around and waited to come back. And, but it is what it is.
All right. So the last thing I wanted to ask you about Dillinger, and this is more of a personal thing for me. I've been a fan from pretty much from the beginning. You know, I got on at about the release of Miss Machine, and then went back and visited all the older stuff. And, there's something about your music, the way that you write it, that I don't know if it's the certain notes that you're hitting, obviously the speed of it and everything, but it kind of just triggers my brain and my body into some kind of like chaotic state of violence. Like, I want to, if I'm ever falling asleep on a drive and I don't have any coffee on me, I just put on Dillinger and it wakes me up. Like, so, but what do you think it is? Like, is it the notes that you're hitting, aside from the speed? Because the speed's just too obvious.
Well, it's a good question. I think it's a combination of things, you know, like I had a lot of attention deficit growing up, and Dillinger was forming, and like the more notes, the more obnoxious The more attention, the more it kept my attention, you know?
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
Or I could kind of like focus on the moment and not everything else in my life. So, yeah, I think I get it. You know? I wrote that music for the same reason that you put it on, you know, in the car when you fall asleep.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, initially, like, the idea with some of that early stuff was to be, like, and some of the stuff that's considered kind of a signature Dillinger sound is to make it as obnoxious as possible. So sometimes that meant harmonizing notes that, like, technically aren't supposed to ever harmonize together.
Yeah, I noticed that. Like, a lot of dissonance.
That meant playing things like really fast, so that you know, things just were coming at you like a freight train, or like, you know, creating patterns that seem almost unrepeatable. You know, they are, just to like kind of not let you rest or let you daydream or let you, you know, get complacent without what's going on. And it's funny. I actually always said that like the songs that are more melodic and rock type, more typical structure type stuff is live. The times when I do start to think about my other daily stuff, and I might mess up because I didn't realize how many times I was playing something. Those are the ones that are actually more difficult for me sometimes. They do allow me to kind of drift off.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I noticed like your music introduced to me the idea of something can be heavy while still being kind of high on the fret, you know, like high notes. Usually you think heavy, you think of like Meshuggah or something like super totally low, you know.
Yeah, like the tune down thing, yeah.
Yeah. So you know, that's such it's a cool idea. Now that I know that, you know, it comes from a place like that, it makes sense, you know.
Nice. Cool.
Cool, man. And then, so, I mean, the only other thing I had was like, are you listening to any new music? Any new bands that are kind of catching your attention? I know that I saw an interview with you where somebody asked you like, who you're passing the baton to, and it's like, there's no fucking baton to pass. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be something completely different. So, what are you listening to? What's piquing your attention these days?
Oh man, good question. Good question. I mean, look. I mean, that's a tough question. I'm always still kind of like trying to discover things. Like, I'm like looking. I'm always going on like the Spotify radio station, like that.
So it's not bands that are trying.
But I mean, honestly, I haven't
been right.
No, not at all. I mean, I honestly haven't been to a whole lot of new stuff. I've been kind of like visiting catalogs of other things.
All right, so like, what are you listening to that's older then? Like, what are you into right now?
I've been like listening to like the whole Beck catalog recently. Yeah, and ironically enough, I've been listening to a lot of Broadway shirts and stuff. I've been working on some music, some like a musical type of thing right now with a friend. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I mean, like, to be honest with you, that's kind of like what's been the past couple of days happening.
Gotcha. If you had a dream project that you could put together, like I know you had the Giraffe Tongue Orchestra, was kind of like that, kind of like putting together a bunch of your favorite musicians. Mm-hmm. If you could do that again with a different set of musicians, what would you do?
Different set of musicians. I'd love to make music with Johnny Greenwood,
who recently got an Academy Award nomination, which is great.
Yeah, he's like hero. I think Johnny Greenwood, John McLaughlin, pretty much any drummer I've ever worked with already. I've had the pleasure of working with my favorite drummers. Yeah, I don't know. I think getting us in the would be cool.
Gotcha.
Peter Gabriel. I think Peter Gabriel should be thrown in that mix.
That would actually be awesome. Hell yeah. So, do you have time for any hobbies at all outside of the farming and rescue animals and stuff?
Not really, man. I mean, like I said, like I've got this. I'm doing the work. I'm doing the business stuff. And I just moved to this farm, which is like a tremendous amount of work. So that pretty much takes it up.
Gotcha. Well, cool, man. I'm gonna let you go. I know you're busy as hell, and you've got the storm that you're dealing with out there in Jersey.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you taking some time to talk to me.
No problem, man. Thanks for your patience and making this happen.
No worries. Follow Ben's adventures on the internet through Ben Weinman on I guess Instagram, and Party Smasher.
You could see the turkey that's living in my house right now on Instagram.
That's awesome. And I wanted to thank you, for 20 years of music, dude. I mean, it's
thank you, man. Thank you.
Grew up with it, so it's part of my life.
Awesome.
All right, brother.
Okay, man. I'll
talk to you later.
Bye.
Cheers.
Cry your eyes, bloodshot, while there's still time. 'Cause soon